devices, I'm going to assign you focus questions. I want you to keep in mind we do have 3 cameras running, my voice recorder, and all the other communication devices. If Sarah's asking a question, Matt might get the answer. You never know. That's where this is going. By the way, it is drizzling pretty hard. So in the event that it gets any worse than this, and I'm going to take a look at the weather as soon as we separate, I'll kind of see where we're at with things, but I was not expecting this at all. It was like a 10% chance of rain, which usually means nothing. This is probably just hopefully going to pass by. It's like great consistency for the skies. So we'll kind of see how it goes. Focus questions. Your device gives us 1 to 2 syllable answers at a time. Okay. So your questions can be wrapped around the mansion. Very simple. Ready?
Are you listening yet, buddy?
I don't want to listen to chat. So your 2 questions. What happened to the mansion? It's not here anymore. And then if you get the what, you often get when that happened. So the exact date. And that can come out of any device. So your main question is going to be what happened to the mansion? Yes, you'll ask it over and over again. And you can ask these questions. Ooh. What do you got?
I got gone. It says gone.
Did it just come up?
Yes.
Yeah, well.
Okay, so again, it's vague. I like where you're going with the conversational piece, but I want that specific answer for that solidarity of like, hey, this was evidence. So hopefully we're going to get it. So again, nice and easy. No. Sarah? Sarah and Matt? Yeah, we're really getting right. We're going to go back to where, like that lot over there, there's a little bit of a shelter over that way.
Right at 9.
All right, guys, we're going to spread out. Let's do this. You guys know what we're up against. Stay away from the vehicles. Again,
Anywhere in this area?
so we're going to stay within the confines of the lot, which basically limits us to the middle of the lot because there's so many cars spread out in here. And again, if you want to just kind of find a spot to tuck away there, that's fine too. Again, I'll do round robins with everybody. I'll do 2 or 3. If it starts raining real heavy again, we'll go back, and then we'll probably call it for this location, and we'll just go on to the next. Of course, it says that damn rain.
Come on, babe. Hello. If you're here, come on. It would be really cool if you came out. Come to the middle of the parking lot. Come right there in the middle.
President was a pallbearer for you.
What's the name?
Huh?
What's the name?
Of the daughter?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Come to the middle of the parking lot if you're here. You in the tree over there with the light? Are you in the tree with the light? You can show me.
Put down lights.
Can you raise your arm if you're with me right now? Raise your arm if you're here. Raise your arm if you're with me. Put your arms up in the air. Come closer to me if you're with me right now.
I'll tell my head, no, I don't think so.
I'm coming. Raise your arms if you're here.
Yeah, it's listening to the radio.
Okay, alright.
So that's
I thought for a while.
that's exactly what we want radio. So that's what we're doing. So on a TV show, so on a TV show, we basically have very easy to hear possible.
Come closer. Come to my left side, all the way to the left.
You can ask the question of, I mean, sure he knows what we're going to ask, so by all means, if you want to say it out loud, go for it.
How old are you?
Somebody actually has the word name. Patty has the word name.
What's your main name?
Yeah. It's always your first name. So if you ever cross your mouth, you want to take your first name. He's got something to tell me. I can see it on his face.
I just heard the word God and Jesus Christ a lot.
You're in the holy city. You're going to hear a lot of religious terminology. So I just started like
Should I
eliminating.
tell her how she died or something?
What's that?
Should I tell her how she died?
You don't even know. You're asking her.
How did you die?
Yeah, anything that comes up with any religious terms, I stop writing down so manually. And specifically in Charleston, from the area code 843, you're going to hear it all the time from the radio commercials. I don't write them down because I'm calling it.
Yeah. The only number I've heard too is 30.
I did say how old she was.
What are you getting on your cam? Anything?
A lot over here. The
So-
light, the
Yeah.
door over here.
So let's go ahead and point it in this corner because I want to show you a few things. Let's kind of get away from the truck. Whenever we have so many cars over here. So we have a lot of things going on just in this corner, right? So if
Yeah.
you point it downwards a little bit, perfect. Oh, right about there. I want to kind of get a few things. So obviously the lamp post will pick up. If you move slowly, it'll pick that up. Your shadow will also pick up. Did you get that yet?
No.
So your shadow will pick up because it's an absence of light.
Okay.
So again, that is a depth perception camera. It's going to spray out the dots, right? So
Okay.
wherever the dots land, it's going to like, oh, that's a shadow. It looks like it's it's in front of something else.
Yeah.
It's not a ghost on the ground. It's you.
Okay.
Okay. So don't get that. And anything with branches is not your friend.
Okay.
So all the leaves from branches are in front of another leaf. So
Oh.
yeah, it's always going to make it look like a hangman.
That
you know?
makes sense.
Yeah, but
Okay.
a lot of debunking with this. If
Okay.
in the event I find something during my spot check,
Yeah.
I always give you a screenshot and I brighten it.
Okay.
So I can see if it was a lamppost, mat in the background. You're getting the point.
Yeah.
So again, I always look for those extra things. If it's
Okay.
something I can debunk right away, you don't get the screenshot. So
Okay.
I probably take 30 to 40 screenshots out of that video.
Okay.
This one takes the longest to go through, and
Oh.
most of it comes up as nil, like
Okay.
nothing.
Yeah.
So I would say a good 95% of it's going to be garbage.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Again, I just like to let you guys know.
No, that's good. Yeah. It's very interesting.
Well, once you guys see how like all of this starts to tie together, that's where like you're all collecting puzzle pieces right now.
It's very cool.
So when you guys have something, they have something, so forth and so on.
It all comes together.
It all comes together.
Yeah.
Let me call up Patty, see what she's got. See anything weird?
Are you with us? If you are with us, raise your arms up in the air. Raise your arms in the air. Raise them in the air if you are with me right now. Sorry, sir. Kinda. I see stuff. I see stuff right here on that pole. Right here.
I just had an 80.7 over there.
Oh.
And 2.5 is the...
I see stuff right by that, on the right hand where you turn in, right there. Right here, I see some a lot over here.
Oh, wow.
But I don't know how. I don't know.
Yeah. How
Accurate.
reliable it is.
Yeah. I've seen an actual figure right there. So I don't know where it went.
Are you supposed to tell it to raise its hand or something?
I did, yeah. That one's so spotty though.
Here?
Oh, that's somebody.
Yeah. Oh.
Remember he said don't ask yes or no questions. Ask something specific.
Let's see.
Anything else going on with your guys' craziness?
She said she's
How about her college?
For college? Okay, so I'll take the word college. Again, that thing is usually 75% accurate, so we'll see what anybody else sticks with anybody else's question. Any other numbers coming out of yours, Tracy?
No, that 80.7. I mean, I've had numbers, but that
80?
wasn't it 80?
It was 40.
No, I had 80.7.
Oh.
I heard church.
When I was over there.
Okay. Yeah.
I just heard you become distorted, and it sounded super distorted.
What? What's she here?
You become distorted.
Definitely missing some things in real time. So I think we're gonna head back to the corner and kind of like distract and give you guys the answers and show you how this piece has been together. So I think we're getting the gist of all of the spirit boxes and how they work and all of the things. But let me show you how this goes. So yeah, camera's got to hit those stop up.
Something's going nuts.
Yeah, that's the noisy spirit box without the headphones. That's basically what Matt's listening to right now. It's the same thing.
That's crazy.
He's getting a little bit more because of the lyrics.
Wow. That's insane. It's a cool job.
All right, AJ, let's get you on mute, man, because other toys are going to start coming through here. Yeah, that's actually where my expertise is all the different spirit boxes.
That's sweet.
All right, so we'll stop right here around this gate. So, make sure everybody gathered around. So I guess first and foremost, those of you with cameras, let's keep them nice and low. As you guys are getting the point. And again, so John, with yours, is this tour going to be coming through? Yeah, looks like they're going to cut through it. So yeah, just point your camera off the ground at this point. Don't make anybody feel uncomfortable. Kind of let them go through.
This kid's sitting here telling me she's got a possessed doll.
Ooh.
I hear it. I hear that.
Not the kids. Don't kids usually get like spirits too?
Well, they haven't been conditioned to not believe yet.
Right. Crazy.
Camera's nice and low. Try to get an angle going down the alley. So this is how we're going to be the entire time we're here. Even with yours, Mike, if you wanted to like switch sides to try to get a good shot, I love when people do that with that one. That's exactly what they do. So talk to me. What have we heard along the way? AJ, let's start off with you.
I didn't really hear much.
Okay, nothing coming out of it at all. Okay, Matt. I know we were chit-chatting.
Yeah, nothing yet.
Okay, Sarah.
I got 2000.
Okay.
I got London. And
Okay.
then
Where'd you get London at?
it said, there was like a commercial, it said like in London, and then I heard international.
Where were you?
Yeah. Were you closer to here or the parking lot?
Maybe like midway.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Anything else?
And then I got like 2 take care of. That's all I got. I was like trying to remember everything.
Last 10 seconds, I've got like 4 different sirens. I don't know what that's about.
Oh, I've got like that, like what's it called? Oh, I don't like it. Yes, I don't like it.
The reason I stopped you on London, that is my daughter's name. And when she's down here, she's usually on the tour. So if you heard like a where is she or any other phrase like that, and then you had the name London, you're probably wondering where she's at. It's weird.
That's creepy. I don't like it.
Daddy, what you got? Last four terms.
Last word. Market,
We just passed through the market.
gain, volunteer, symbol, punish,
That's it.
addition.
So that was the parking lot.
Oh,
We're still back to the lot at that point.
Punish was parking lot.
Okay. All right, so the London bit, we're going to see if there's anything that's going to tie into that for me on a personal level. So we're just going to kind of see what happens there. So with this location, we're going to, by the way, we have a full place to ourselves. Wow, super awesome.
what's this alley?
This is Philadelphia Alley. This used to be called Jeweler's Alley, which is why we're here. Every ghost store comes down here, it's a staple. So we're going to keep AJ on mute on this one, and then as we go up and around the corner, we're going to be testing out John's camera very specifically because he'll be the focus on that over there. It's a very specific location of what goes on at that location. But this one, all the tours come here because we all tell the same damn story because we can prove what happened. However, I'm going to tell you the same story but with a few extra details because we're ghost hunting, right? So here's how the story goes. The doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. In the event that the few Spirit Box listeners hear the song Brown Eyed Girl while we're here, it's not coincidence. We get it all the time because it's part of his name. Now anyway, Dr. Ladd moves down here because he is supposed to get married to his fiancée Amanda. Amanda just inherited a lot of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all this cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. Get him out of here. Dr. Ladd moves here to Charleston. Heard that he's not just after her cash. And on his way into town, he had a coachman that set him up to be robbed and killed. It's not a very good start to his stay here in Charleston. Somebody was walking by and knew the coachman and what his intentions were, and that person walking by was named Ralph Isaacs. I say his name slowly because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from, Rhode Island. We were getting the letters RI on the regular spirit boxes all the time, so I bought a new device. It's called an Envoy. We're not using it tonight, but it's basically a digital Ouija board. Whenever I brought up Ralph's name, he We've had it about 7 times in the past year. We get the letters RI consecutively. I wanted to know what it's referencing. Back to the Rhode Island or Ralph? It's definitely Ralph every time. Back to Ralph. He tells Doc, I know this guy, the coachman. He's going to try to kill you. So why don't you come with me to 59 Church Street? You can rent a room from these friends of mine, and you'll be safe. Good to go. Doc took him up on the offer, and the two gentlemen became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. Proving his point. He's not after Amanda's cash. Making his own. Doing well. She gets wind of this. She's moving down from Rhode Island so they can be married. Dr. Vlad then became known as the Whistling Doctor because he whistled all the time. And yes, it's the 1780s. Men whistled all the time. This is why I hate the damn story. Every haunted city you will ever visit is going to have a cliche whistling ghost. We all have one. Ours just happens to be a doctor. So why are we in Jeweler's Alley for this whole scenario? Let's get into that. So Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doc makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats. So on the way home from seeing Richard III one night, they are arguing over the actress that they just saw. She had never been here before, and they were discussing it. Well, Doc thought she was great. Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. And it got really ugly. They went their separate ways. Now, Ralph has friends. He goes to his friends at the newspaper, and he tells them to place an ad for him, telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of shit. Doc saw the ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Jeweler's Alley. Somebody's going to die. I want everybody to keep in mind that this argument started over an actress. Kind of a dumb thing. So the two gents, friends by the way, came down, back to back, took their 10 paces, they turned, Doc pointed his gun in the air. Shot his one shot from his flintlock. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just needed courage to show up to the fight, which is often what happens at a duel, by the way. So Ralph has his one bullet in his flintlock, puts it in the kneecap on the Doc. Doc didn't die, but Ralph proved his point. He's still pretty pissed off. He's gonna, not kill his friend, but not forgive either. Doc fell to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he died 10 days later after refusing medical treatment on November 2nd of 1786. I'm going to point out 2 things about that last statement. It's 1786. Gunshot wounds back then, a lot different than what we know of them now. Secondly, he is a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself, but obviously he failed. That's Remy, in case anybody was wondering. I've seen all the heads turn. We are in his house. You don't know who Remy is? Watch a Disney movie. You'll get it. Now, so the doctor piece. Every ghost story tells their guests to listen for the whistles while they're here. We have 3 cameras running plus my voice recorder. If we capture a disembodied whistle, more than likely it'll be on one of those 4 devices. However, 2 red spirit boxes, especially Sarah, you're the one that's recording right now, right? Yeah. So I can tell by the lanyard. So yours is green versus red. Red means recording. Sorry, little tactics with all of your devices, by the way. In the event that we have the whistling part of a song and then the word doctor immediately after, I can't tell you how many times I've actually heard that, not looking for it. It just happens while we're in here. I was going to take this location out of my route because it is a staple for all the other ghost tours. More than likely, if you've been a ghost tour in Charleston, you've heard this story, so I was going to take it out just to have something new. But this guy follows me around for the rest of our entire evening. Based off the places that we're going are nearby places of raised emotion for him. So it's very interesting indeed, as you're going to see this guy. And again, this guy's story's been told for like the past 40 to 50 years. I'm the only one that ever communicates back. So you guys get the point of why he's trailing me and not necessarily hanging around for these groups of 20 to come down here and talk about the whistling ghost. So that's how this goes. If you're going to try this on your own and walk all the way through the alley, by the way, because I can't take you all the way through, I'm going to explain that. I've actually been kicked out of here. That's the fun part of the story. I'm going to get into it. Oh shit, what are you teaching these people? But just seeing the look on your face was like, oh my god. But anyway, use your voice recorders on your phones, but just remember, every local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Queen or Cumberland, we all throw a whistle down this alley. It's just something we do here. So they're very easily debunkable. If you find a disembodied whistle, which I have some, it's very quick and faint, and it's not in a tune. It's very quick. So they're just subtle. Now, here's how I got kicked out of here. Here's the fun part. You guys ready? The alley didn't go all the way through the way we came in. There used to be a wall up there. The reason why, this used to be called Cow Alley. This is where they kept all the livestock for the city of Charleston. Cows, goats, and chickens are all down in through here. So why am I telling you this? The bricks down on the other side are older than the bricks we're standing on. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there. So when you were telling me like punch symbol, I was kind of like, oh, where did you hear that from? That's where I was getting them. But anyway, the handprint, and there's a couple of fingerprint swipes in other bricks if you really look around down there. But I used to take my group all the way through for a history lesson. Nothing paranormal. I already told you how I feel about cemeteries. That's the last place you're going to find the kid that made that handprint. You guys got the point, right? November 26th of 2020, I took my entire group of 10, about the same size as you guys. down there for their history lesson. I always tell the story ahead of time so we could just pass by and I would just point at the brick as we walked on by. Well, they all stopped and huddled around the brick, waiting for something to happen. I try to shoot them along because we're also outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful, not realizing we were out of bounds for tours. I was still new at this. So, the new owner of that mansion, she came out screaming. My daughter, London, thought it was hysterical. She's cracking up. She's laughing on the ground. Her father's getting yelled at. She's all about it. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't start on Thanksgiving because I worked in upper management for Walmart before I started doing this. And you guys like to fight over towels on Thanksgiving. You scarred me for life. If you haven't seen like people at Walmart.com, go back and take a look at some fights over towels. It's a good time. Anyway, moving on. The next day was the 28th. I called my partner that brought me into tourism. I told him what happened so I could figure out what to do next. And he tells me, dude, he's laughing, by the way, just like my daughter. He said, you're only allowed to go down halfway. Otherwise, you got to reroute the group. He's like, you're sold out again tonight. Reroute the group. It's Black Friday. So what I told my group is, I don't believe in the next story because I'm into the vampires, not pirates. The next story used to be a pirate story. But again, it's being monitored right now. So before we left the space, somebody with a spirit box wrote the name Anne. I could tell them which pirate we were going to be diving into. The female pirate, Anne Bonny. Like, okay, definitely wasn't looking for that, were you? So we're going to let these folks pass through. Little bit of a commercial break. How you doing, guys?
Good, how are you?
Good? So, again, you got the name Anne, but somebody else heard the number 300. I didn't know what it meant. I wrote it down. I did the research for them. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720, the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was actually kind of pissed off. Here's why. Master's degree in creative writing. That means anything I do, especially anything dealing with ghosts, has to be factual. Pirate stories come from pirate lore. That's a problem for me. Pirate lore was written 100 years after the Golden Age piracy. How you doing, guys? Anytime somebody found something when I was taking people up there, and again, this is how I learn about it. I just keep repeating it until it's a nice, big, extravagant story for a year or two, and then I retire it and move on. But the pirate story, I had to read more books to kind of validate what was going on. And I've read more books on pirates, documentaries, played video games, you got the point. I was actually quite ticked off. I'm even more ticked off now. I can't tell the story to anyone. Because again, it was just a nice big space where we were able to spread out. But they're monitoring that space where I used to spread going out. So we are going to be going up around the corner. We're going to use that camera as a focus when we get up there. It is a popular spot as well. We may have to wait our turns depending on how many other tours are up there. So I may give you the story ahead of time first. Maybe I'll definitely want you listening up and around the corner when we get there. And again, other cameras, if you want to record as we exit and go out around the corner, you can if you want to. But again, not necessary. I will need all three cameras focused on John's, or the same focus, but John's will be definitely the one of concern when we get up there. You'll see why once we get there. Any other major questions on dueling or killing people? Wow, silence is compliance. There we go. There's a couple of chuckles. Have we heard anything before we leave the space? I know it's hard to listen to me.
Just heard whistling as you said that.
Whistling and what? 400 and whistling. I got Dan and Vivian. Dan and Vivian. Like, that sounds romantic. 400 whistling. Was the word doctor immediately after it?
It sounded like Western whistling, like, I don't know. Like,
Whistles are whistles, man.
yeah.
Like, even if a train whistle comes by, I'm kind of like, okay, it's vague, it's a stretch, but I like it. We still heard a train whistle on the radio, which isn't something you normally hear. Any EMF in this location, Tracy? So I forgot to tell you, in this location, I usually look for 8 or above because the lamppost will give off up to a 7 while we stand around this corner. Oh, by the way, I know it's very warm down here. I try to speed this one along because we're not going to spread out anyway. But the gate behind me, there's a reason why it's there. Remember I told you that there was a wall up there? In the event there's a loser to the duel down here, this was the shortcuts to get to the cemetery that we're going to go take a look at. Otherwise, they have to carry the dead body all the way down to Queen Street and then double back before they can go celebrate with a winner with a pint. You guys are getting the point.
Wow.
The wrought iron that you see on there was probably put there in the early 1900s, but you can see that the archway is definitely part of the original wall. So very cool stuff. And Dueler's Alley wasn't a city name, like that was its nickname. So I want to say at that time it was called Kinloch's Court, but the nickname was Dueler's Alley. All right, let's go up and see if we can capture an apparition. Let's see what we can do with this one. You guys all have your job. Perfect. Thanks, John. Definitely listen in, and AJ will get you cranked up along the way. Let's do it.
So as you said, did you guys hear anything? It whistled. That was so weird.
That was weird. What kind of whistle? Babe,
Huh?
what kind of whistle?
What kind of whistle?
Mm-hmm.
Hit that record button. So I'm going to tell the story while you guys are starting your recordings. So Mike, come on up. I'm going to get you right up here on the gate and get it so that way we can get some filming. Just try to keep your cameras as steady as possible. And I'm going to go through the story of what's actually going on here. So I'm going to get out of the way from Mike and jump in there. So for the rest of you, this location, I don't know, right in front of John, if you want to lower your camera, just like point it at the ground, there's a sign right in front of you. That sign reads, "There's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost." The reason why is they don't want jerks like me with all of these crazy cameras trying to recreate what happened. So here's what happened. 1888, a young lady passed away by the name of Sue Howard Hardy. Anybody want to tell me what her initials are? Sue Howard Hardy.
SHH.
What's it spell out? Very cheesy, very campy, but we've seen it and we've heard it. On my little Ouija board device, we've had the initials come up and we've had it show up on Patty's word list before. So just take it for what it's worth at this location. Now she dies 6 days after her stillborn child. Okay, so it's a very sad story. Yes, I'm telling you about another dead baby. There's going to be one more tonight. I'm sorry. However, 1987, 99 years later, on the exact day of her death, June 16th, we have a local photographer taking pictures of all of our beautiful cemeteries, and he captures a full apparition in one of his pictures. What's 1987? He doesn't have the technology that we have now, so he sends it off to Kodak. So Kodak can confirm the camera that it is, that he said it was, and that nothing was altered on this photo. So the picture is said to be cursed to females. Females that handle it in a digital format, even in a physical printed out format, are said to get headaches, nausea, dizziness. So the same symptoms we talked about at the beginning of our night. Pregnant females are said to not have a good pregnancy. I'm going to show the picture, but I'm going to ask you to not touch my tablet. I'm not going to be the guy where there's a honeymoon going on or something, and 9 months later I curse your family. So again, in the event that we have evidence from this, and by the way, in your report, you will have links to be able to verify all of these things that I'm telling you that I'm going to label as evidence. So you're going to have a lot of homework to do. In the event we have something from Sue to where I can verify that it came from her, it'll say safe link, so that way the females aren't accidentally holding it on their phone and trying to click the link. Okay, so if you want to look up that picture on your own, I'm going to show it to you now. But again, just try not to handle it on your phones in the event you want to go Google it later. And the other tours, they all stop here. This is usually their last finale. So they all come up here because this is their show and tell. So here's your picture, by the way. Your apparition is right here. You're looking at a woman praying over her own grave, and the baby basket is right next to her. Remember what I told you about baby George? This could have been another theory because I could not find records for the child, for the stillborn baby. So your full picture is right here. Now normally if you type in top 100 best apparitions ever caught, this usually falls in the top 100, which is why every ghost tour comes up here. This is kind of a big finale show and tell. Now her grave, for you, those of you with cameras, if you look at the cross headstone in the background up there in the distance, we were actually closer to her from the alleyway. Her grave is just to the left of that, on the other side of that like rounded headstone. So it's one more row, like even towards the back. That's where this picture was taken, was from the back. So
It's not the cross, it's the one next to it.
the one next to it's to the left of it, and one more back. I used the cross one because it's the most direct. But with this said, this happened on June 16th. So what was June 16th of this year? Does anybody remember? Just last week was Father's Day. So I don't work on Father's Day. I'm a dad. So the night of the 15th, I finished up their data, and I decided afterwards I'm going to come down here because now it's the 16th. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning. I have John's camera. Poke it right in the gate, and I hear this. Hey. Jingling of keys, and then the word hey. I only had 1 minute and 8 seconds of footage. I went back and checked the footage, no sounds anywhere. So I literally poked it in, and I said, because I was going to record it for like TikTok and my socials and things like that, because of what the anniversary was. And I said, we're going to get about 5, maybe 10 minutes of footage, and then I heard that noise, and I said, I guess we're not. And I literally put the camera down and walked off to my phone. Because again, I'm not going to either piss off the grave robber, or maybe, I don't think Sue Howard Hardy from 1888 is going to say the word hey, but you guys are getting the point. I was trying not to overstep my bounds. Again, I do run a business. I don't need tickets and violations against my business of what I do out here.
What church is this?
This is St. Philip's. So this is our tallest steeple. So just fun fact for everybody here, no building in Charleston can be taller than this steeple. That's the rule of thumb.
Wow.
Just to keep our skyline. That's why we're called the Holy City.
Wow.
The light to your left, by the way, you guys all see that big bright light there off to the left? The church put that in there to try to deter us from getting light flares on pictures and regular cameras. But the paranormal cameras that you guys are using can cut right through that thing. That's why I love John's camera for this experiment, because if we have movement, it's not going to be a light flare. So there's a lot of little debunking pieces I can get. I don't have anything yet. limits for me right now. Anybody hearing anything, by the way? Sarah, Matt?
I heard
At the moment, no.
like $3.99, like a price.
But you've heard 99.
Right there, $3.99.
99 years after her death was the first picture that was captured. So
Mm.
399, I would count that as we have a
Okay.
slight relevance.
Okay.
I'd heard a hotel about 5 minutes ago.
Just the word hotel.
There's a cat over there.
Yeah, that's Jackie.
Where?
That's
It's right on the.
I want the cat.
Black cats are not unlucky. That's not true.
I love black cats.
I like cats.
So we're gonna get another minute or two of footage because that tour over there to our left is probably waiting on our spot. So, Mike, have you seen anything crazy come out of your camp?
No, nothing.
So what'll happen is once we get out of their way, I'll take us across the street and explain our last location, just because it is an experiment where it's completely different than what we've been doing, and it's gonna be kind of weird for somebody. I think I need to explain it. Alright, let's go ahead and put a stop to
the
this.
cue.
Again, I just try to stay out of their way. We're the weirdos. Let's go.
Yo.
Again, you don't have to keep the cameras on them right now,
Okay.
obviously. You guys are getting the point. It's a pretty big title. Like, not familiar with that. This guy's pretty well known, and then he has a son by his wife Katie. His son's name is Willie. He was born on Christmas Eve, and he died 9 months later. Very sad for him and his wife Katie. And Henry's not writing as much. So he has another writer friend he went to school with. He realizes he's not writing as much, and he says, "Dude, go use my cottage out in Columbia, middle of the state. Leave Katie behind to mourn with her parents that were here visiting." And Henry took him up on the offer. He gets out there. This is where he wrote his last words. His last words were, "Beholder of brief mortality." Today's translation: "Dear person with a short life." And then he coughed, and it landed on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis. He died right there, age 38, pen in hand. Now, there's more. We're here because of the blood stain. They show the blood stain one day a year on Halloween only at the Charleston Library Society, where all of his collection of work is being held. The reason why they show it is because we call it the blood book, and it looks like a man writing. Perfect marking for a poet to leave behind. You have to be a member to go see this, but the internet is beautiful. I'm going to show you what the page looks like, and then we're going to hopefully go talk to Henry. I'm also going to tell you that Henry, again, we do this session for 10 minutes. So family members to Sarah and Matt that are going to be blindfolded, they're not going to be able to hear me. I'm going to need one of you nearby, your family member, so that way, if they're too loud, you're going to tap them on the shoulder. They're going to know these things before they even start. So that way they know to quiet down. We do have neighbors that are behind me. I try not to make them angry. So here is your blood stain.
It looks like.
Yep. You can see like this is a pretty famous story around here. Now when we're done with this session, again, they're not going to be able to hear me. You're going to tap them on the leg. So again, I don't touch the guests on the bench. Obviously, Mike's going to be able to hear me because he's only wearing something over his eyes, so he can hear me perfectly fine. But again, Henry can be a little timid, especially on the weekends when it's very busy in here, but there's no other tours in here right now, so we're kind of lucking out. We'll see if he wants to chit-chat with us. Again, this can turn out to be super silly, where they're answering silly answers to my questions, or this is going to be really good. We don't know. They've been coming up better and better over the past week. For like a month and a half straight, it was like no activity whatsoever. But it is always fun to try and fun to watch. But they've been coming slightly successful. So I usually require 2 answers to be direct to my questions to be considered slightly, and then 4 or more questions in a 10-minute time frame to be direct and provable. You guys will see that point, not conversational. So let's go talk to this ghost and see what we can get.
What's the name of this tour?
What's that?
What's the name of this tour?
This is Washington.
Oh, Washington.
That's George right over there. As in George Washington. Alright, you got your blindfold first and foremost. Yeah. Okay.
Huh?
No, he didn't. He failed. I said they would not go all the way around your head. It's okay. If you're comfortable wearing it like that, I can fix it.
Nice
So
going.
normally, because I have young ladies that do this, I'm trying not to screw up their hair, it's a Batman. Your ears go in here.
I was saying, there's no way this fits around my head, but clearly I just
the box tonight too, Henry. You kind of collapsed out on that the other night. You didn't get much. We just heard some sounds out of the church. You can tell us what that is, but I'm going to move into you specifically.
The outside.
What did you do for a living? Tell us about your occupation.
Piano.
Henry, I know it's very loud out here. I don't normally care for that. I can't control the vehicles that go by here. Henry, can you tell us about your job, please? Do I see any numbers? Henry, did somebody else come here with you?
Piano.
I want to remind you guys that Dr. Ladd will also come through these sessions as well because the house he lived in is literally right around the corner. So sometimes we'll see Dr. Ladd. That's why I usually ask if there's anyone else here. Henry, we're focused on you. Can you tell us about your job? Or
Shooter.
Hmm.
Involved.
Oh.
Mary, did you come along? By the way, guys, this is how I learned about Mary Ravenel, the story I told you over there. I actually had an image showing up on Mike's device of a woman laying on the ground. And then when I discovered the Mary Ravenel story, I
Tell the world a prayer.
put the two pictures that were found from his images next to Mary, twins. Like craziness. That's why I tell the Mary Ravenel story from his experiment. Henry, if Mary came with you, can you tell us Mary's name, please?
Loves me.
Nice to him. Still looking at his house?
Halfway there.
Henry,
Wednesday. President.
who was president during your time? Can you tell us that? Henry,
Someone humming. Kanye West.
the word west. Henry, let's get some verification that you're here.
The first.
I asked you a couple of questions so far. I asked you about the church bells. I asked you about your job. I asked who was president during your life. Yeah, I'm talking Lincoln. I'm talking Civil War
Hard
times.
to breathe.
Hard to breathe. You want to talk about your death?
Guitar.
It's a yes no question, Henry. Do you want to talk about your death?
I'll be there.
Henry, what's so significant about your death? Why is it so important?
Fell out.
What fell out? Patty, do we have any words?
Yes.
Good news.
Manifest, learning, distinguish, beach,
Trying to win every single.
defeat, disability,
Humming. Good mood.
and learning.
All night long.
You see anything, Michael?
President talking. Keep talking.
Video?
I can take it if you want.
She said
Hold me.
Henry, you said hard to breathe.
I'll be your friend.
Go, go, go.
We're not leaving yet, Henry. We got time. We've only been here for probably 5 or 6 minutes. Henry, we're running out of time. Henry, we're not leaving. You know that's not your code word for us to end this session anyway.
More humming. Ready to survive.
You might be getting like disembodied voices.
The word survive. Give me my hardest.
Henry, tell us about your last page.
Proven. Proven to help.
What's so unique about the last page that you wrote?
No dignity.
Did you say no dignity or no diggity? You said dignity.
Dignity.
When you still don't know. Alright, look in your eyes.
Henry, can you use the blue box to give us a vision? Tell us about your last page that you wrote. You're down to about 2.5 minutes.
The whole thing.
You might be getting
Took
hurt.
a couple weeks.
Henry, I don't know why you're shying away from the blue box. You didn't give us anything the other night either.
My granddaddy put his hand.
Hmm.
Henry,
Oh,
finally?
graveyard.
No, scratch face.
Wow, it looks like someone behind a grave. Hold on, this logo. It's peeking out. Something's peeking out.
Person?
Yeah, it looks like it's jumping up and down. It's like a little. It's like a
Anti-accident.
little.
Surprised at how many people.
Remember it?
Only
What's
like
up with that?
Someone's bad.
cemetery graveyard seeing in the image. Can you tell us who's in that
We're
picture?
working too hard.
Who's in the picture?
It was sunny and there was pink flowers.
That's your wife's grave?
Download.
You're not buried in the cemetery, are you? Henry, if you give us another image, we'll go ahead and call it
Give
wraps.
you up.
Can you give us another image that's something we can prove to verify you're here?
Wild card.
You go down. Higher.
He's pretty damn good at this, Lexi, just so you know.
He likes that kind of stuff.
He's almost giving me too much.
I know.
I would almost speed it up for him, just so he didn't have that much. Henry, one more image, we'll call it a day. We'll leave you alone.
Show me it.
I'm a victim of.
Of what? Tell us. Show us.
Get this. Whatever. But I do think I had it the whole time.
Raise your
Having a
arm.
conversation with himself over here.
Raise your arm up.
I had you.
Be okay?
Henry,
Raise your arms.